Chapter number 13, Congruence of Triangles. Now, let us study what is the test to check whether the two triangles are congruent or not. To show that a pair of triangles is congruent, it is necessary to show that all 6 corresponding parts of the two triangles are congruent. Means if these two triangles are congruent, if we want to show that, then it is not necessary that we have to show that all the 6 parts are congruent. Means all the 3 angles of this triangle and all the 3 angles of this triangle are congruent, and all the 3 sides of the triangle first and the 3 sides of the triangle second are congruent. It is necessary to show that all the 6 parts are congruent to each other. If 3 specific parts of one triangle are respectively congruent with the 3 corresponding parts of the other, then the remaining 3 corresponding parts are also congruent with each other. Means we have to show that only means 2 sides are congruent of this triangle to 2 sides of this triangle, and one angle is congruent to one angle of this triangle. It is also okay. 3 parts are congruent to each other. Otherwise, we can show that 2 angles are congruent of this triangle to these 2 angles of the second triangle, and one side of this triangle is congruent to one side of this triangle. Then also it is okay. We have to show that 3 parts of one triangle are congruent to 3 parts of other triangle, and then the triangle becomes congruent to each other. It means that the specific 3 parts ascertain the test of congruence. So first one, 2 sides and the included angle, that is known as Sas test. Sas means side angle side test. This can be used to show the congruence of 2 triangles. Means 2 sides and one angle included in that side is congruent to 2 sides and one angle included between those 2 sides to another triangle. So these triangles will be congruent if 2 sides and in between them one angle is congruent to each other. So draw triangle ABC and draw triangle LMN such that the 2 pairs of their sides and the angles included by them are congruent. Means this is first side and this is second side. So the angle which is included in both these sides, this angle, it should be congruent to this side and another side and the angle included between these 2 sides. Then if these 3 parts are congruent to these 3 parts of this second triangle, then both these triangles will be congruent to each other. So we have drawn here 2 triangles, triangle ABC and triangle LMN. Now this shows that 2 vertical lines are there, means this side AB is congruent to this side LM. These are also 2 vertical lines. Then these are 3 vertical lines, and it shows that this is congruent to this side. BC is congruent to side MN, because here also there are 3 vertical lines. Then this angle B is congruent to this angle M. Draw triangle ABC and draw triangle LMN. Then length of AB, it should be equal to length of LM. Length of this AB, it will be equal to length of this LM. Suppose we take this length of AB as 5 cm, then we have to draw this LM as a 5 cm length side. Now length of BC, that must be equals to length of MN. If this side is suppose 6 cm BC, then the length of this MN should also be 6 cm. Then major angle ABC should be equals to major angle LMN. ABC, this angle, it should be equal to this LMN. Okay, so if we take this angle as suppose 45 degree, then we have to draw this angle also as 45 degree. Now copy triangle ABC on a tracing paper. This triangle ABC you have to copy on a tracing paper. Place the paper on triangle LMN. After copying this triangle ABC on a tracing paper, place that paper or this triangle, traced triangle ABC, on this triangle LMN in such a way that point A coincide with point L. This point A, it should be coincided with this point L, and side B, AB overlap side LM. This side AB, it should overlap, it should come on this side LM, and angle B overlap angle M. This angle B, it should come exactly on this angle M. and side BC should overlap side MN. This side BC, it should come on this side MN. So you have to put this traced triangle ABC on this triangle LMN like this, as shown in this example. You will notice that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle LMN. Means that this triangle ABC, it will completely cover this triangle LMN. And this shows that all the sides are equal and all the angles are also equal. Even though we have shown only two sides are equal, means AB is equal to LM and BC is equals to MN, and only one angle is equal, that is angle B is equal to angle M. But still it will prove that all the sides of this triangle ABC is congruent to this triangle LMN, and all the angles of this triangle ABC is congruent to triangle LMN. So this shows that both these triangles are congruent to each other. Now another test, that is side test. We need three parts to be congruent for one triangle to another triangle. So SSS means all the three sides are congruent and no angle is included here. So draw triangle PQR and triangle XYZ. This is triangle PQR and this is triangle XY and Z. You have to draw these two triangles such that length PQ should be equals to length XY, and this length QR, it should be equal to length YZ, and this length PR or RP, it should be equal to length this ZX. Okay, so we have to draw such two triangles that all the three sides of one triangle should be equal to all the three sides of another triangle. Now copy this triangle PQR on a tracing paper and then place it on this triangle XYZ. We have to observe that all the three sides should be equal, means we have to keep this triangle PQR on XYZ such that this side PQ, it should overlap this side XY, and this side QR, it should overlap side this YZ, and this side RP, it should overlap this side XZ. And then you will find that P corresponds to angle P corresponds to X. Means this point P, it should overlap this point X. Q, it should overlap to Y. This point Q, it should overlap to point Y. And R, it should overlap to Z. Hence R, this point, it should correspond to this point Z. And you will notice that the triangle PQR is congruent to triangle XYZ. Means even if we have checked for three sides to be congruent to each other, but the three angles will automatically become congruent to each other. This is the SSS test, that is side test. Third test is two angles are included and one side between that those two angles is included, that is angle side angle test. Here we have to check one angle to be congruent to another angle, then we have to check another angle that is congruent to another angle, and then the side included between these two angles, it should be congruent to side included between these two angles. So now again draw triangle XYZ. This is triangle XYZ, and another triangle DEF. This is triangle DEF. We have to draw these triangles such that this side XY, it should be equal to this side DF. Means length of this XY, it should be equal to length of this DF. This angle X, it should be equal to angle D, and angle Z, it should be equal to angle F. Like this we have to draw the three sides of the triangle XYZ and three sides of the triangle DEF, and three angles of this XYZ and three angles of this DEF. Copy this triangle XYZ on a tracing paper and place it on triangle DEF such that this angle X, it should overlap this angle D, this angle Z, it should overlap this angle F, and this side XZ, it should overlap this side DF, so that this angle E and angle Y, they will overlap each other and these two sides will overlap each other. So note that triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle DEF in the correspondence X corresponds to D, Y corresponds to E, and Z corresponds to F. Like this, with this correspondence, the two triangles will be congruent to each other. Now fourth is two angles and one side, that is AAS or it can be said as SAA test, means two angles are included and one side is included. The sum of the measures of angles in a triangle is 180 degree, means when we will total or we will add the three angles of a triangle, the total will be 180 degree. Therefore, if two corresponding pairs of angles in two triangles are congruent, then the remaining pair of angles is also congruent. Means if this angle A and angle B is congruent to this angle L and angle M, then automatically the third angle, that is angle C, will be congruent to angle N. If two angles and a side adjacent to one of them are congruent with corresponding parts of other triangle, then the condition for ASA test is fulfilled. Angle, side, angle means one angle is there, then one side is there and another angle is there. This condition can be fulfilled. So the triangles will be congruent. We need two angles and one side. So two angles are there. Suppose this is one angle and this is another angle. This is one angle and this is another angle. Then this is A. Okay, and one side should be included, so that side can be after A, then third side this one. It should be congruent to this one. A and this one. Okay, so here we need two angles and one side. If they are congruent to two angles and one side of another triangle, then the third side and the third angle and the remaining two sides will automatically be congruent to another triangle. This shows the congruence of triangle with SAA or AAS test. Now fifth one, hypotenuse side test for right angle triangle. Hypotenuse means this one. Okay, this is the right angle of a triangle, right angle 90 degree, and opposite to this is known as hypotenuse. So hypotenuse side test means one hypotenuse should be congruent to another hypotenuse and one side should be congruent to one side. There is a unique right angled triangle of a given side and hypotenuse. This is right angle triangle with 90 degree and this is also right angle triangle with 90 degree. Draw two right angle triangles such that a side and the hypotenuse of one is congruent with the corresponding parts of the other. Means we have to draw two triangles such that the hypotenuse of this triangle, length of this hypotenuse should be equal to length of this hypotenuse. And one side of this triangle, it should be equal to one side of this triangle. If this happens, then both the triangles are congruent to each other. We have checked whether this hypotenuse length is equal to this hypotenuse length and this one side is equal to this one side. If it is true, then both the triangles are congruent to each other, because already this angle is of 90 degree and this angle is also of 90 degree. Means both the triangles have one angle same of 90 degree and two sides are also same, and so these two triangles are congruent to each other. But here the side is a hypotenuse because of 90 degree angle. So these were the tests by which we can check whether the two triangles are congruent to each other or not.